The Nigerian informal traders and commercial drivers call for unified tax payment system to end multiple levies. Informal traders and commercial vehicle drivers in Nigeria have called on the government to implement a single unified tax payment system to alleviate the burden of indiscriminate and multiple levies. The proposal aims to address the long-standing issues faced by roadside traders and drivers, particularly in the city of Lagos, where unchecked taxation often leads to harassment and exploitation. Now, before we delve into this conversation, we do have a clip for you to watch. Just take a listen.
And the idea is good if they can put it together. Because normally I don't know, anyhow, but if they can put together, someone pays in once, so it's better. When you pay once, you know that you paid. Not that this one will come, this one will come, this one will come, so that kind of thing. So, like for instance, now we pay in the morning, we pay booking, and we pay for ticket, like the National Union ticket. We pay National Union ticket and we pay for booking that you apply, that place you apply, you have to pay. You understand? And as you load, so you still pay. You understand? But if they can put it once, that someone will pay once, you understand? It is better than maybe this one will come, this one will come, this one will come. So if they can put it together, someone pay once, you know that you pay once, so it's better.
We pay the tax in the market together. Then normally we submit to the state level, because we have the state level at Mosholosa, where our headquarters is. So from each local government, we take from the each market to the local government, and from the local government to the state level. That is from the butchers association. You know, government workers, they always do their job. Sometimes they will come, but we understand each other. So whenever they come here, we tell them that they should hold patience for us, that they should give us some time, and we give them the promise, and we fulfill the promise.
There you have it. What do you make of all this? Drivers, meat sellers, those whom we refer to as those constituting the business informal sector, they are calling on the government to provide, or to better put, formalize the system of tax collection from them. It shows something very, very specific. They want to pay their taxes, but they do not want to pay their taxes to unauthorized persons. Or they want to pay their taxes to the authorized persons, but they do not also want the duplication of that taxes by unauthorized persons. So, what's the role that the government is playing to hinder unauthorized persons from collecting their tasks? I will reference something Doc said some time ago on the program. You know that, sometimes you give leeway for the ungoverned spaces.
I was seriously hoping you would go there. For us to have
peace. No, we'll bring Doctor.
No, for us to have peace on this table. Why did you go there?
For us to have some peace, then we'll bring in some of the unauthorized or the ungoverned spaces and let them have a little of the cake. Then we can have peace, then we'll move on with our program. Is this what we see? Because we can see these guys and say, we want to pay our tax. The meat seller wants to pay his tax.
Oh, yeah.
The guy who is selling jeans and shoes at the side of the road wants to pay his tax, but he wants to be certain that I'm paying my tax to the government of the state, to an authorized personality or an authorized entity. I don't want to pay it to admirals, and I don't want to have anything to do with this people. I just want to do my business in this place. But are we having that respite? Are we having it?
Well, that's what I actually argue, that Oyinpreye is advocating that we can clear off those informal taxes so that we can have one straight formal tax that people are paying and then it gets to government. I shared while we were on break that moving from Badagry to Lagos Island yesterday, I can tell you the number of stops and the groaning of these commercial vehicle owners at every stop. Somebody is stretching hand to collect something. And you look at that stretch of road and see the number of various agencies that are staying on the road. And they are not checking.
They're not checking, which is their primary responsibility.
They are not checking. They are just collecting. And then, of course, you have those who don't have clothes at all. Some wearing white and green, some wearing yellow, some wearing carton brown, some wearing ash blue or ash color. And everybody is on the road. And who is the victim? Is this commercial bus driver. And now, no receipt. They just have the marker. And they draw 2 or draw A on your bus. And they are waiting for the next turn. And so, this is what we see on a daily basis. Then the market women who are selling, somebody is there collecting the rent. And these monies are never remitted to the government. And that's why when I say to people, see, we can't say in Lagos that people are not paying tax. People are paying tax. It's only that the tax they pay does not get into the hands of government. Because even if government fix the kind of thing that they pay on a daily basis, everybody will be crying. Because these people are actually being milked. And I pray that government has the willpower one day to say, okay, let's have democracy as they do it elsewhere, where we will no longer need to settle people with state assets so that we can win. Then we can have some respite.
Doc, I want to ask this question. I want to ask you, Oyinpreye. Is there a place where they buy willpower?
Willpower?
Yes.
Political willpower?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Is there a place you can buy willpower? So that we can maybe as Nigerians help our leaders purchase willpower. They seem not to have it or know where to purchase it. That's the fundamental problem. But again, it is a deliberate problem because they have willpower. When they want to go after their opponent or the opposition, they have willpower. When they want to do what suits the government, what will benefit the government, they have willpower. It is only when it comes to defending the average Nigerian that they don't have willpower. So why don't they have this willpower? Why are we allowing ungoverned spaces to increase? Why are we giving freedom for non-state actors to be emboldened, to be empowered, to carry out their activities as if it is normal? You need to see the dimension these non-state actors have taken this tax collection to. It's not a right. Even when you have government officials collecting tax, they are not as bold as these non-state actors. It's a direct stretch of the hand. Owemida, if you don't give them money, where's my money? It is not where is the tax, where is my money? So it's my money for them. It's as if the commercial drivers owe them. You must pay. Failure to pay, they descend on you. First of all, they look for something that they can take off your vehicle. They begin to vandalize your vehicle right there on the spot. You see them come out from their different hideouts, descend on the driver. You must pay, except you don't want to move. You don't want to work that day because they will hold you hostage. We have rights around there. Even when you have the LASMA, the police, it's a normal thing. People see it as pay them. As he said, markers. Initially, I used to think that maybe they are government tax collectors, maybe how some governments would contract it to a third party, tax collection from the informal sector to a third party, and then they'll tell you that if they use those at the office, they are not brutal, they're not tough to get tax from the streets. So they have to contract it to a third party who will recruit boys or recruit people who can be very, very tough to collect taxes. But now everybody has a marker. Everybody, you can buy a marker yourself tomorrow and be on the road and mark and collect from people. You can collect from traders. So I think that it is high time. We cannot be ripping the people off. You cannot give the people to oppressors and use that as compensation for those who worked for you during election. Those who acted as, I don't want to say ballot snatchers, but whatever it is they were doing for you during the election. And so now it's time to compensate them. You now give them the right to oppress the people in their own country, to begin you now make them tax masters over citizens. It is enough. It is enough. If government wants to sanitize the system, they can. It doesn't take government much because government has the military, the security apparatus. You can use that. You can't fight government. It's only when government, for reasons best known to those at the helm of affairs, choose to turn a blind eye that will say they don't have willpower. They have it if they want to do it.
Yeah, but you see, the challenge is not as if government don't have willpower. You see, but it's the blackmail that willpower will bring anytime you choose to wield it. If you look at the fragility index, you'll find that we are around number 3 or 2 on that ranking as the most fragile states. And what does that mean is that the government has lost complete and absolute control to be able to enforce some certain things. So government is now negotiating with non-state actors to be able to achieve some certain things. And that's why you find that you are going to be looking at it. Take, for example, what's the number and size of our police people? What's the number and size of our military that should be able to actually enforce some of all these rules?
Within the states?
Yeah, within the states. So
I think we have enough.
No, we may not have enough. It's difficult. I remember there was a parley that was held in Lagos recently, and I think, sometime last year, and the deputy governor was representing the governor, and it was between corporate entities in Lagos and the government interaction. And one man stood up and asked the deputy governor and said, "Oh, there are things we see here in Lagos that are not seen. I see traffic light on. All those keke people, they just run. Group where they run anyhow. And you see your people that they are there and they cannot act." I can't forget the response. He says, "Look, these people, they are human beings like us with blood flowing in their vein, with family, wife and children." And he gave an example in Amo Ward of it when they tried to sanitize it, that about 2 policemen were killed in the process by these same people. Now, these are the challenge that, of course, most states are facing. And why? Because we have been able to weaponize poverty. Because you see, when you deprive these people, they become poor. And so when you need them to mobilize them, it is easy to give them 20,000 and mobilize them into the road. But you have raised an army that now they have nothing to live for.
They can die for anything.
And they can die for any cause.
Thank you very much. Now, from my own part, I think the government is just not ready. The government doesn't want to do it. It doesn't want to do it. Forget the consequences. We all know the consequences that have bedeviled some part of this country and how we saw the government acted as a government, either at the federal or state level. They acted as a government. You could see them brimming with political will. And they gave the instruction. You killed a police officer? Who are you? Because the government agency seized some, you breached the government, you breached the law through which the government is governing the society. And because you were angry, you killed a police officer.
You know,
the government is not ready.
You know one interesting part. Part of the reasons the police officers cannot even enforce law around this area because they too collect, yes.
They do, of
they
course.
Collect. So who are you
they are part of the problem.
To caution the non-state actor when you're doing the same thing.
However, we have seen instances where these police people would still collect from these commercial vehicle drivers when they have an instruction from the superior, from the commissioner of police, or is coming from the inspector general of police to act concerning anything. There is no impossibility. They will not cross. And we know from Nigeria that Nigerian police, they have that capacity. See, Nigerian police have that capacity. And sometimes some of the technologies that we are yearning for that we do not have, if we do have, we would have solved 1 or 2 kind of problems that are peculiar to the environment. They have it.
What I saw with the NSAS.
Yes, but Doc, we need to round up
in my neighborhood. What I saw in my neighborhood.
But that's a collective problem where everybody was against the authorities.
It was not everybody. It's not collective.
It is.
What-
NSAS was
It
collective.
was largely collected.
NSAS
Maybe
was
not totally,
collective.
but largely
No.
collected.
I'm only saying in the environment where I was living.
Okay.
And you see these boys who were bent on burning down Ojodo police station. And for 3 days they were staying there until the police exhausted their bullets.
It can't get to that situation now
And-
because we're talking
No,
about
no, no, no,
those
no.
who are collecting
See,
illegal taxes
see.
from people.
No.
They will not have that number
They
and
have.
support. They
They
will
have.
not.
No.
They would not have
Oh
that
my-
number and support
oh my-
as the NSAS
As the
movement.
NSAS
No,
movement.
They would not.
No. See, let's not trivialize this matter. Just get to Obalende and know the number of them.
There are many. But if you don't have
Now,
the
if
drivers
they want
joining
to-
them,
see,
if you don't have the traders joining them,
if they want to,
they cannot
no,
meet
they
everybody.
don't need the trader to join. The truth of the matter is, once these people start trouble, even you will not stay. So look at it this way. The challenge is that we have breeded a whole lot of people that we should have taken off the street and put in schools and allowed them to be on the road. See, these people, you cannot take them for granted.
Okay.
And therefore, the state completely has no control. Whether it's in Lagos, or whether it's in Borno, whether it's in Adamawa, this thing has spread across all the nooks and crannies of Nigeria.
Okay.
That no state actors are becoming very powerful. We cannot sweep it under the carpet.
And that's
We
where
cannot sweep it
that's
under the
where-
That is
carpet,
why
but
we are
we can
negotiating.
curb it. We can
That's
curb
why
it.
government are negotiating from time to time. You have to negotiate.
Okay,
Seriously?
so I understand.
We negotiate when we don't have the will.
I understand
when
the
we're
reason
not
why the
ready
government needs to negotiate.
to take care of
because
them.
one, the government doesn't want to just go out to kill these people.
The government
Or
doesn't even have
no, because there will be a conflict where these boys will not back down, and the government will have the officers
They
in
will
the
back
field
down.
will have no choice but to gun down a few people.
They will back
and
down.
me, I'm sure, and I'm not proposing this. By the time they take out a few people, others will sit back. And probably the government does not want it to get to that level. However, our society by the day is increasing where we're having non-authorized persons take laws into their hands to do things endangering the lives of well-meaning Nigerians. And the government must sit up tight to do that.